Right now, you are operating as a highly efficient debt servicing unit for a world that no longer exists. You make a good salary, pay your bills, and follow the exact financial rulebook your parents gave you. Yet, your money drains out exactly as fast as it comes in, leaving a constant, low-grade financial anxiety humming in the background of your life. Here is the brutal truth. The safe, traditional financial advice you have been spoon-fed since your first paycheck is a relic from the pension era. It is mathematically engineered to keep you running on a treadmill until you drop. Normal money advice keeps you broke. Today, we are tearing down that illusion and giving you the unconventional blueprint that actually buys back your freedom. Meet Nina and Ian. Both are 32, making exactly $83,000 a year. Nina plays the conventional game perfectly. She sank her savings into a $400,000 starter home because society told her renting is throwing money away. She has the massive mortgage and a driveway full of depreciating metal. Ian makes the exact same money, but he rents a modest apartment. Instead of feeding property taxes, Ian aggressively funnels $1,500 a month into low-cost index funds. Society thinks Nina is wildly successful, and Ian is falling behind. Fast forward 3 decades, Nina is chained to her desk at 66, staring down a terrifying cash shortage. She has $500,000 in home equity, sure, but she cannot buy groceries with drywall. That brings us to the liquidity premium. That sounds complicated, but simply put, it means having assets you can actually spend today is infinitely more valuable than having paper wealth locked inside a brick house. Ian quietly retires at 51 with over $3 million in highly liquid income-producing assets. He spends his Tuesdays playing golf because he can access his wealth without selling his roof. Nina walked straight into a mathematical trap disguised as financial responsibility. It starts with the cornerstone of all traditional advice: just save 10%. You've been told this is the gold standard of financial success. You have been lied to. Saving 10% was phenomenal advice in 1982 when companies offered guaranteed pensions and starter homes cost barely twice your annual salary. Today, 10% is a completely outdated baseline. We live longer and pay substantially more just to survive. To understand why you are falling behind, you need to understand purchasing power erosion. That sounds complicated, but simply put, it means the dollar you save today will only buy you about 40 cents worth of groceries by the time you actually retire. You aren't standing still, you are actively moving backward. Let's put the math of misery on display. Picture a red string connecting a 10% savings rate straight to a $0 bank account. On an $83,000 income, saving 10% means putting away $8,300 a year. Over 30 years invested perfectly, that grows to roughly $1 million. Using standard withdrawal rules, $1 million generates $41,000 a year in income. But the average American household spends $77,000 a year. You run a massive $36,000 shortfall every single year. You are mathematically guaranteed to run out of money. And the truly scary part? The U.S. personal savings rate is currently under 5%. Saving 10% today is just a polite way to be completely broke at 70. The 10% lie is just the appetizer. The main course is the debt-to-wealth illusion. This is the cultural brainwashing that rushing to buy a starter home and upgrading your lifestyle magically builds wealth. Let's look at the driveway. The average new car payment is over $700 a month. People stretch loans to 84 months just to survive the payment. Every single dollar you feed to the dealership is a dollar permanently banned from multiplying in the stock market. Rolling over negative equity isn't transportation, it's wealth destruction with heated seats. But the true middle-class trap is buying a house before you are mathematically ready. You completely drain your liquid emergency fund for a down payment. What real estate agents conveniently leave out of their pitch is amortization. That sounds complicated, but simply put, it means for the first 10 to 15 years of your loan, almost your entire mortgage payment goes straight to the bank as pure interest, not toward actually owning your home. You are paying a massive cover charge to a bouncer just to stand in an empty club. When you buy early, you lock up your precious capital in bricks. You are slammed with property taxes and sudden maintenance costs that eat up another 2% of the home's value annually. When the roof leaks, the bank does not care. You are house poor. The money that should be compounding in the stock market is constantly bleeding out to fix plumbing. Sometimes renting buys you the massive surplus cash flow needed to actually build real liquid wealth. Why do smart people fall for this? Because the system is built on invisible architecture designed to keep you consuming while feeling secure. Take the modern 401k. Companies automatically sign you up at a default rate of 3%. You assume the experts set it there because it must be enough. It isn't. The system is engineered to keep your contribution rate just high enough that you feel safe, but low enough that you keep spending the rest of your paycheck to keep the consumer economy churning. And they keep you swiping credit cards with the promise of points. You collect miles and think you've outsmarted the banks. But the physical act of handing over cash creates the pain of paying. When you don't physically feel the money leaving your hands, your spending quietly goes up. You get 1.5% cash back on purchases you unconsciously increased by 15%. You are stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. You see your neighbor's expensive vacations on social media, but you cannot see their massive credit card debt. We compete with what we can see, and what we see is endless consumption. How do you actually escape the trap? You replace traditional advice with an unconventional blueprint. First, embrace the 50% rule. Forget saving 10%. You need to target a savings rate of 30 to 50% of your income through massive lifestyle suppression in your early working years. Cut the ego-driven fat mercilessly. Drive a paid-off used sedan instead of financing a luxury SUV. Rent strategically and ignore friends bragging about heavy mortgages. Suppress the shiny lifestyle up front so your money has time to multiply. Wealth building happens first, and lifestyle happens with whatever is left over. If your current environment fundamentally prevents a high savings rate, you cannot budget your way out of it. You have to aggressively attack your income by job hopping or freelancing. And if the math still breaks, you have to exercise geographical arbitrage. That sounds complicated, but simply put, it means moving to a completely different, cheaper market while keeping your high income. Pack your bags. The prestige of a coastal zip code is never worth a lifetime of financial slavery. Relocate, slash your overhead, and instantly buy back decades of your life. Next is index fund dominance. Leaving money in a regular bank account right now is a joke. It is like trying to carry water in a bucket full of holes. Your purchasing power drains to inflation while you earn pennies. You need low-cost index funds tracking the broad market. When you buy an index fund, you buy a tiny slice of the most profitable companies in America. Here is the secret sauce. It is completely self-cleansing. If a massive company becomes obsolete, the mathematical formula automatically drops it and replaces it with the next rising giant. You do not have to pick winning stocks. The index fund naturally cleans out the losers and rides the massive growth of the winners for you. And whatever you do, do not hire a standard financial advisor who charges a 1% fee. This creates compound degradation. That sounds complicated, but simply put, it means a tiny 1% fee doesn't just take 1% of your profits, it secretly steals 1% of your entire account balance every single year. Over a 30-year career, that friendly fee strips nearly $1 million out of your pocket. Buy the index fund yourself. Set it to automatic. Let it compound while you sleep. If you're listening to this thinking you are already too far behind, you are wrong. You need to deploy catch-up math. The IRS allows massive catch-up contributions to your retirement accounts as you get older. Aggressively use these legal limits to bypass the tax drag on your late start. Normal money advice keeps you broke because it was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to make you a highly efficient consumer. Every time you stretch a car loan to 84 months, drain your liquidity for a house you can't afford, or hand over a management fee, you are voluntarily selling your own future freedom to pad someone else's bottom line. Financial independence is not a lottery ticket you randomly win. It is the deliberate, quiet act of reclaiming your time. It means waking up on a Wednesday morning knowing you are working because you choose to, not because you owe the bank for a lifestyle bought to impress people you do not even like. Here is your high-energy transition from consumer to investor. This is your first 90 days action plan. Month 1 is the bleed audit. Log into every account and brutally evaluate housing, transportation, and food. Cancel the invisible subscriptions. Month 2 is the structural pivot. Stop financing your ego at the car dealership. If you are trapped in a terrible auto loan, sell the car, take the hit, and buy a cash beater. Open your brokerage account and select a broad market index fund. Month 3 is the automation lock-in. Route your paycheck so that a massive 30 to 50% chunk goes straight into your investments before you ever see it. You build a machine that saves you from your own psychology. Take one single step today. Do not wait for Monday. As soon as this video ends, open the exact same banking app that gives you anxiety and find one visible leak. Cancel one ridiculous dinner reservation or manually transfer $100 into a low-cost index fund. Prove to your own brain that you can break the invisible script. The system desperately wants your money. It is time to start keeping it for yourself.